Hello everyone, welcome back to Enchanted Moments Nursery tutorial. Today we're going to start a new project. This is a makeover baby from one of my customers, so I'm getting ready to open her and see what we have to work with. This is a hard to find kit. Isn't she cute? This customer has asked her to be stripped and made over to look a specific way, so we're going to start that process today so you can follow us through. We'll take a couple before and after pictures so that you can see. Nothing major is wrong with this baby, it's just not what this person's wanted. She's wanting a specific look for her to keep in her collection. Her cute little gown. Can't wait to put that back on her. All right, so we're going to take off her clothes. An older kit, Amelia by Kazmierzcak. I think that's how you say her name, maybe. So she's only got 3/4 limbs. We're going to reuse her body because there's nothing wrong with it. There is a little bit of matte finish type of a feel to her, but not really terribly thick, so it shouldn't be too hard to scrub or clean. Oh, see, she falls apart. She doesn't even have zip ties, so it'll be easy to get her apart. We're going to take these out and put zip ties back in when we put her back together. She's got zip ties on her arms. One more piece. All right. And now we get to start the scrub-a-dub-dubbing. I'm going to stop the camera for a minute so that I can put it stationary and get my supplies ready for stripping the paint off. We're going to do the hair in another step, so we're just going to work on what we can with the paint today. All right, for this next step, we're going to take out the guts of the stuffing on the heads and the arms before I can start cleaning up the insides. So I use my forceps and kind of dislodge the fluff. This is some fun fluff. I don't know where this baby was made, but this is not fluff I've ever seen. Maybe she was made somewhere international. I'm going to replace all of the fluff when I put her back together, just because I think that's just good hygiene. Get rid of that. And pour her glass out. She's very fine glass inside of her. Can you see? Very fine. Like table salt almost. Do your best to get it completely out of the limb so you don't end up with a pile of glass in your lap in another step. If you don't have a pair of forceps like these, I would strongly suggest it because there are places in a Reborn that you can't quite reach. Pardon my dogs. I have an amazing amount of annoying dogs. I don't like using this super fine stuff inside the bodies, so if I find that when I put the body back together, I'm going to replace it in the bodies with a little bit heavier glass. It's got a little bit bigger circumference than this super fine stuff, just because I find this stuff is so fine it just finds its way through the nylon stockings that fill up the body. And I don't want it to come out into the main cavity of the body when the baby's cuddled. Her head is really full. Take a break for a second and get my dogs back in the house so that they'd stop barking. All right, dogs are in, and baby's almost finished. A little packet of something. She's got a fair bit of fluff in there. I'm gonna have to chisel out, so I'm gonna probably pause the video again in a minute just to pull it out and see what this is. Oh, it's black. I don't want to put it in the same glass. It really contaminates the glass. Science experiment. Let's see what this is. I have no idea. Maybe it's glass. Maybe it's lead shot. It's too small for lead shot. It might be that. Can you see it? I have no idea what it is. But I'm going to go with, if you don't know what it is, don't put it back in. And we're going to go throw it away. Tray magnet. Oh, that's a good idea. Anna is standing over my shoulder, and she says, try a magnet, see if it's magnetic. Oh, it's totally, oh, bad juju. Yeah, this looks like it's a lead shot. Oh gosh, that's actually pretty cool. I have to see if I can get my magnets back out of the middle of it, if I can find them. All right. Thou shalt never put lead inside of a Reborn. So lesson number 10, whatever. Don't do it. Crap, now I can't get my magnets back. I say that because there is chemical, or I guess minerals, inside of metal products that rust when they get inside of a doll. And they leave little black, rusty caca inside of the doll that bleeds through and stains the inside of the doll. So if you have this stuff, look at what it's doing to my hands. Disgusting, like rust. If you have this stuff, throw it away, don't use it. Thou shalt not ruin your baby before you even fix it. Good idea, I'm glad we tried that. It's too bad it's too fun to play with. You can hear it going ding, 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 as it picks them up. Put that in the video. Okay, that belching in the background is my dearly beloved exercising in his workroom. He'll be thrilled that he made it into one of the videos. That is me in real life, man. Okay, I'm going to start another step before I start actually stripping. I'm going to strip this baby's hair off so that I can get to the paint underneath. So I'm going to put on a hair remover cream. This is just cheap stuff from the dollar store or the $1.25 store because I hate paying for things that are the same formulas as other things and just cost more. It's kind of dumb to me. So you can go find the Nair, the fancy stuff, or you can get the cheap stuff. It works the same. It smells the same, which is gross. This needs to go on thick, like a diaper cream. You want to massage it into the hair follicles, not just sitting on top. I could pull this baby's hair out, but it would take 10 years and I don't have time for that. So we're going to cheat and do it the effective way. Hold still, baby. It says it's 5-minute formula, but I don't know that I trust that to be accurate. I always leave it on for 15 because it's not going to eat my skin if I do. It doesn't hurt the vinyl either. All right, baby. You are going to sit. Moisturize. All right, we're going to start with our stripper. I use Brush Cleaner and Restorer by Winsor & Newton. It's the only thing that I have found that effectively takes it off without wishing you could just burn the kit and start with fresh kit. So I use the cotton rounds instead of cotton balls just because they give a little more strength. Soak it pretty good. Stuff has a strange smell, but it's not unpleasant. and it's like expensive, so don't let it spill. And this baby had a protective finish on it, so it's not stripping off like it would super easy, because I have to get through that layer of protective finish before I can get to the layers of paint, which come off pretty easily. You can see it starting to lift off right there. I'm not sure I can catch it on the camera, but you can see kind of a gummy texture when it gets through the matte finish. And then when it eats through that, then you can get the paint off relatively easily. So this is going to, I'm not going to videotape this because it's going to take me a good hour to scrub this clean, which is why I don't like doing makeovers unless it's a very valuable kit. And since this kit happens to be a very hard to find kit, there's not very many of her in the world, and she is long sold out, and that's why this person bought one used and had her stripped to start over rather than hunting down a blank, because they're just pretty much impossible to find. Well, close to impossible. So I would only do this for tutorial purposes and for expensive kit purposes, and that's what we're doing today, is expensive kit purposes. And start seeing the paint coming off. So this is not my favorite part of reborning. I'm not gonna lie. I would 1,000,000% prefer to take a blank kit and make it, but there is a little bit of satisfaction, well, a lot of satisfaction, when you can take a reborn that has been unsatisfactorily reborn. Not that this one has, because she's actually pretty cute, but if you can find one that is not in the best condition, then you can always strip it down and start over. And it's super pleasing to me for some reason. I guess it's kind of like seeing your garden at the end of the season when you put all that work into it to find something beautiful at the end. All right, as you can see, it's taking a long time. So I'm going to stop the video so you don't have to watch 5 hours of scrubbing, and carry on scrubbing, and we'll be back as soon as this baby is clean. A brief snippet, I just wanted you to see a painted version versus the one I just finished stripping. So I guess I should leave them out, huh? Zoom. I just finished this one. Got all the creases. Get yourself a handy dandy stiff brushed toothbrush so that you can get into those little creases in the palms and stuff. That helps get rid of the paint that you can't quite get out of the cracks and crevices, and in the little armpity things. You can see the painting detail compared to the blanket kit. She will need a good scrubbing to get all the oils from this remover off, and then when all of her pieces and parts are done, she'll be ready to start again. So I'm going to carry on. Okay, so I finished a leg. Wanted you to see it comparatively speaking. When it comes to these little creases, your toothbrush is your friend. Gets all those little crickies, crickety crackities. All right, so I have one left, and then it's about time to go back to my Nair hair and scrub it off. So I'm going to finish this last leg and then catch up again. All right, so we're done. I think it's been about, I don't know, 25 minutes or so. So our head is definitely cooked. I tried a little bit over here. Elizabeth, can you come look in the camera to make sure I'm like staying in video? Is that okay? Yeah. All right, so we're gonna scrape the hair back. It's pretty fascinating to watch this process. It just kind of melts right off. Sometimes it doesn't all come off on the first time, so I have to reattempt it, but it's not doing too bad. This hair was pretty coarse for this size head, so I'm not surprised. Blech. This is pretty gross, but slightly amusing at the same time. And this little tool came with my cheap dollar store hair remover cream. I think somebody asked me where I got it from, and it just came with it. Otherwise, I have no idea where you'd find something like that. So lay down, dog. Yeah, this is not coming out as total as I would like, so I'm going to put it back on after I get this first batch out. I'm going to let it sit for another bit while I wash the legs and arms and get the last junk off. Don't use anything to scrape with that is more stiff than something soft and plastic like this. I don't want you to destroy, especially if you have a very expensive kit that you're trying to do. It would be a really wretched thing to have to destroy this kit just because I'm using something metal or something. I guess it's not so much the metal thing, it's the sharp metal thing. Because I do use putty knives like this too. But if you use anything more sharp than this, you will end up shaving your vinyl. And sometimes it just comes off in great big globs, and sometimes big old giant wads stay behind. It's strange stuff. All right, so I'm going to finish scraping these last bits off, and then I'm going to reapply here in a minute. So I'm going to fast forward it so you don't have to sit here and watch me scrubbing. That's going to be boring. All right, so I'll be back in a minute. All right, so I finished scraping off as much as I could. Let me get the thing in the video here. I scraped off as much as I could, so I have this little downy fuzzy stuff left. And then I'm starting to put the hair remover back on. We're gonna get this another time. This next time should be enough to do it. And then I can move on to stripping off the paint. Such a pretty little kit. I'm really excited about painting it. I've had a couple people message me about why I haven't been doing videos lately. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I haven't been doing them because we moved to Florida a couple years ago. And the space here is not the same as the space we had before. And it is not easy to find quiet. So we're actually moving back to New York in June. And hopefully I'll be able to start making more, because I have a whole list of them that I actually want to make. I'm about to use up all my cream. All right, so I'm going to give this another 20 minutes or so. I'll check it in the middle and see if it's eating it off or it's ready to go. And in the meantime, I'm going to go take those limbs over there to the sink to wash all the snots off that I've washed them with, so I can get the oils off. And I'm going to wash them twice, once with soap, and then I'm going to come back and alcohol them off so that they'll be ready to take paint. They still stink the first time you wash them after you strip a kit. That's why my ovens are in the garage, so I don't have to smell and stink. But I have not found anything that will actually take the smell out the first time they're heated. So if you're stripping a kit, please don't cook it in your house the first few times so that you don't have to smell those stinky smells. Okay. I'm not going to put it on her eyelashes because I'm going to tweeze those out. All right, I'm gonna go wash them to kits. All right, so I'm in the kitchen getting ready to wash these legs. So we're going to use Dawn dish soap. And I'm gonna use this opportunity to get rid of the glass that's inside of them. It keeps coming out in my hands and making me want to curse. You can see all the oils are removed because you can, so the water kind of just sits on top of the vinyl. It's got a much more grippy feel to it. one little set of limbs. All right, I'm going to take this layer off and see if we have it down enough that it will work for what I need. I've been playing with it a little bit to see if it's taking it off. And you can see when I scrape it that it's pretty much off now. Might be a few random hairs here and there. So these ones, if they don't come off with this layer, I'm not going to do it again because it's getting kind of, well, mostly because I'm just lazy. So I'm going to tweeze whatever's left on. I should be able to get a good portion of these off with just the scraping. Maybe I'll just leave it on and just work with it, and it's pretty amazing stuff. I'm quite pleased that I didn't have to do all this by hand. It's sort of therapeutic too. It's like icing a cake. And I know it won't take everything off, but this is just to make it so it's easier to try to get as much off as I can without literally spending hours and hours and hours plucking by fingers and tweezers. And I can actually take like a razor blade shaver and use that as well. I don't do that near the front of the head because if it nicks, I don't want to have to try to cover it, but I can do that at the back of the head without worrying it because this is all going to get rooted back over with a light brown hair. And if I had a paint job that I really liked and I didn't like the hair, you see it's not really damaging. There's no damage to the paint. You can see it just fine underneath of it. So I'm going to work with this for a little bit and see what I can come up with, and then we'll come back when it's all cleaned off and ready to start stripping. All right, so our nair is done. There is still some tiny hairs, but they're blonde. You can't really see them. You can see the peripheral vision of them, the silhouette. Got a little muck behind my ear still, but I'm getting ready to use my cleaner and start trying to strip this little head. This is the last part. I'm gonna move those guys out of the way so I can wash them again. And this is a makeover, so it's not going to be perfect. When you don't start with a new kit, you never restart with a new kit. But we do the best we can, so. My aim is to just kind of get it wet the first time. And it will start doing its thing of making the paint soften. So I can start scrubbing. The color off. Get out a little soft spot. It's going to take a couple minutes of scrubbing, so I'm going to fast forward this so I can get it done and show you the finished project. And then we can get started on the next step. We'll do that in the next video. almost ready to restart. Okay, I'll be back when it's ready. Okay, this baby is done. She's stripped as much as I can strip her. She's been washed. I haven't alcoholed her yet, but I'll do that before I start the next step. Up her nose, all good, and her mouth. She's still a little bit damp because she's drying off from her bathtub scrub. This is Amelia, part 1, remake.